everybody. Welcome back to our channel, Living in Big Sky. It's Matt Zaremba and Allen Potts here with the Zaremba Potts Group.
Yeah, most people compare Big Sky to places like Jackson Hole, Aspen, or Park City, but when you start shopping for homes in Big Sky, you'll realize that it's completely different from land ownership to home ownership to how the entire town or landscape of real estate operates here in Montana. Big Sky offers a lot of things that these other market towns offer: the skiing, the great landscape, the community. But what you'll realize is that Big Sky and buying here has nothing to do with the skiing itself. Most luxury towns in the West already feel established or finished. Jackson Hole feels established, Park City feels established, Aspen feels established. Big Sky still feels like it's becoming something. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons buyers are paying attention right now.
That can either work massively in your favor or it can lead to buying in the wrong location, overpaying for the wrong type of property, or ending up with a lifestyle that doesn't actually fit how you want to live there.
So in this video, I'm going to break down why Big Sky real estate is completely different from other mountain towns, what out-of-state buyers usually misunderstand, how the different areas of Big Sky actually live day to day, and what you need to know before buying a primary or second home here in Big Sky, Montana. This video is for you luxury second home buyers, relocating families, and buyers considering long-term ownership.
And make sure you stick around until the end, because there's one thing about this market that most buyers don't realize until they've started shopping.
So why does Big Sky feel different than Aspen, Park City, or Jackson Hole, or any of the other mountain towns you might be exploring?
Big Sky is still developing compared to these other mountain towns.
Yeah, Big Sky might feel like an immature market compared to Aspen, Jackson, or Park City. We're maybe halfway to 60% through with the land here. Another thing to consider is we've got tons of national forests, conservation land, and protected land. So like Jackson, we're kind of in this funnel from down in town to the mountain up, but we're nowhere near as built out as those places are.
And depending on who you're comparing us to, but we always like to tell clients this, is that we're always X years behind whatever town we're talking to. And to a lot of people in Big Sky, that feels like you're in at the ground floor, which is exciting to a lot of folks.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have people that feel like they missed maybe Big Sky or the opportunity over the last 10 years, and I really don't think that you have when we compare it to these other mountain luxury West markets. We've got a town that's probably 50% built out with more commercial and mixed-use residential, hotels, restaurants, shops, and bars coming. And later we'll get into the ski expansion and expansion at Moonlight and Spanish Peaks, which are our two main clubs in the ecosystem here of real estate in Big Sky.
Compared to some of these other ski resort markets, Big Sky feels a lot less densely populated and the living is a lot more spread out.
Yeah, we only have a year-round population of about 4,000 people. Maybe on a given ski day, a big powder day, or a holiday weekend, there's 15,000 people or so in town. Big Sky has way more room to breathe. I used to live in Vail for about 10 years. And one thing to think about the first time I came here is when I went hiking, like you don't really see people on the trails. We do have days where there's 15 to 18,000 people in town, maybe over July 4th weekend or rodeo or a big ski weekend or a huge powder day. But you're gonna find a lot of room to breathe for your activities here in Big Sky. And there's one person, I think, per skiable acre on the mountain, which is huge. You're not gonna feel like you're skiing through traffic or crowds. Big Sky still has an early innings feeling in certain areas.
One thing that you're gonna find out in Big Sky is that some of the infrastructure that some of these other ski towns have, we're still a little bit in the early phases of that. We don't have all the infrastructure that somebody might want, but a lot of buyers find that exciting to be here before a lot of that stuff is ready to go.
It's important that we talk about new luxury developments and club-driven growth. So some of the newest developments that we've had over the past couple years are the Montage opening at Spanish Peaks, and then recently the one and only opening at Moonlight Basin. These have really set us apart with having 5-star hotels located on different points of the mountain that have great ski access and luxury amenities. Another important thing that sets Big Sky apart from other mountain towns is that we have the Yellowstone Club. Super famous, super exclusive. You've seen the list of celebrities online that live there, and that influences the market big time here in Big Sky.
As Matt was saying, having the Yellowstone Club here in Big Sky, having that much wealth located in one spot really helps drive some of the infrastructure needs that are necessary for this town to move forward. For example, there was a new community center that needed to be built a couple years ago, and they needed to raise money to do it from like a nonprofit perspective. And having the Yellowstone Club right up the hill from us really helped make that happen.
Yeah, it also affects our real estate prices too. So I think the Yellowstone Club's probably gotten into the 5,000 square foot range for pricing. And back when we lived here 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. So when we see those prices inflate to numbers that we just spoke about, that drives people down the hill to Spanish Peaks, Moonlight, or Town to get a better deal, to get a bigger house, a little more bang for your buck. But it definitely affects the real estate market here and the rental market in Big Sky.
It's interesting. The Yellowstone Club, though completely independent from all of these other clubs and these other neighborhood markets in Big Sky, just having that close proximity does definitely have a mental effect on people spending in those markets next door. Like Spanish Peaks is adjacent to the Yellowstone Club. To see prices over $2,000 a square foot there is not uncommon, and it wasn't hard to get to that point when just up the hill, people are spending a few $1,000s more on a price per square foot basis.
One fun fact about the Yellowstone Club is that we've heard that it's the highest concentration of wealth outside of Dubai. So that definitely drives the market as well.
Another thing that sets Big Sky apart from some of these other resort markets, and it goes back to how we're less mature and less fully baked, as they say, in the real estate industry. I think buyers see that as a way to capture more upside. If a buyer is willing to, sacrifice some of the creature comforts that they might not have in Big Sky compared to buying in a place like Jackson or Aspen that's going to have a way more built out restaurant infrastructure and retail shopping infrastructure and things like that, those people feel like since all of that stuff is coming down the road, you could benefit from the prices today without those amenities and then sell at a time when more of those amenities will be there and the value of the property, all else equal, should have gone up.
So how does pricing work in Big Sky? A lot of it depends on ski access, location, whether or not you're in the clubs or whether you're in one of the 4 areas of Big Sky, which is the town center, the canyon, north or south, Spanish Peaks, or Moonlight Basin.
And because we're less of a mature market, there are a lot more opportunities to buy bigger acreage, have more privacy, and then people are capturing rental potential too for some of these condos and homes that are already built.
Yeah, this is a good time. If you're interested in rental potential or investment property, don't forget that we are licensed realtors here in Big Sky, Montana. We'd love to help you buy or sell a home. We're also very fluent in the rental market. We can tell you which properties will probably rent better if they're proximity to the town or ski access and run through carry sheets with you all day long.
So please feel free to call the number or text the number below, and we'd love to get in touch with you and talk about that.
Some things that a new buyer might overlook are HOA fees, taxes, club dues, and infrastructure costs compared to other towns.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good reason to work with someone local who understands the market here in Big Sky, because if you don't, there's a lot of these costs, especially pertaining to the clubs, that might go overlooked when you're looking at an MLS listing or something like that. There's fees associated with some of these clubs that you might just overlook.
Yeah, here's something we ran into a client recently. We looked at a ton of properties in the $1 million range in the town center, and it was really important that we knew that certain units were getting roof assessments or they're getting siding assessments. That's something that could run you an extra $30,000 or $40,000 and add to your quarterly HOA costs. And you've got to be cognizant, you've got to be educated on that before you purchase.
Yeah, another 2 examples that just came to mind of things that people often overlook are in both of these clubs and actually a few neighborhoods, there's these 1% transfer fees, which are typically paid by the seller. But it's one thing that, if you overlook, that's a significant cost to the seller that will change their bottom line. Another thing that often gets overlooked is in these clubs, there's multiple kinds of memberships. Typically, there's a social membership and a membership that includes golf. In Spanish Peaks in particular, sometimes people forget that the property that you're buying, you're subject to whatever kind of membership that person has on that property when they sell. So if you're interested in a golf membership, but the seller has a social membership, you might not have the ability to upgrade. So sometimes deals die on the vine when a buyer realizes that halfway through the buying process, when they could have realized that right from the get-go.
Yeah, and land, another really important thing about land is we've got to talk about geotech. So down in the town center, a lot of the land's really flat. It's easy to build on. We get up into the mountainside or we get up into the club and there's landslides, soil differential. We've got to be careful about where we're buying, or if someone's already dug on a lot and decided not to build. And those could increase your excavation and foundation costs drastically versus buying flat land. So you might be online looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, all the classic sites. You're going to realize that inventory here in Big Sky is limited. And some of that is due to construction timelines, the lack of infrastructure here and available land.
But we also don't want that to discourage you. We've talked about this before in some of our other videos, but if this is your first time, there's a lot of deals here done off market, and Matt and I and other realtors in town who understand this market oftentimes know about things that aren't officially on the market, but we know that they're coming, and there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, it's important to work with a local in that aspect. We, in the last 30 days, just sold 2 off-market homes and personally know about 5 new builds right here in the town center that are starting construction in the next couple weeks. It's something that you could jump on early if you're with the right person.
And at this point in the search, this is when a lot of buyers realize, holy cow, we're not just buying real estate. Big Sky, Montana real estate is almost its own ecosystem.
Some of the other things to think about in Big Sky are the expensive carrying costs, the harsh winters for some buyers, the spread out geography, limited services compared to other major resort towns, construction timelines, airport access, and some areas might feel really isolated and not localized.
One thing I'm going to say as a caveat to those, though, is that a lot of people come to Montana looking for adventure. The reason that they're coming here isn't because they want everything that they have in their city life or other ski resort markets that they're more fully built out. They like having those shortcomings.
Big Sky is incredible for the right buyer, but it's not exactly a plug and play into luxury home ownership. So before you assume that one area of town is perfect for you, there's a lot of things that we see buyers underestimate before they end up selecting an area in Big Sky. So we've got a client story for you. A client out of Seattle loves skiing and decided that they only want ski in, ski out property. So we decided maybe you should rent for a couple weeks, live on the mountain. They're gonna live here during the winter and during the summer and go back home and work in the off seasons. And we said, go ahead and rent up at the mountain. What they realized is that if they wanted to be a part of the community, that the ski and ski out's great all winter long, but there's not much of a sense of community up at the mountain. Like right now, if they were staying up there, it's May, you probably aren't gonna have any neighbors. You also get more bang for your buck down in the town center. So we decided to look at some properties in town center, saved about $400,000 for the same size unit, same square footage, same number of bedrooms. And they're much happier meeting people in the community, riding their bike around, having neighbors, going to the restaurants and shops, which there's more of down here in the town center. So that's something to be aware of as well. When you think one area might be perfect for you, but you got to spend some time here and make sure that you're making the right move.
And that's also something that we've seen evolve over the years. Like when Matt and I first moved here over 10 years ago, it was more what you think. When you come out to a ski resort town and you're looking for real estate and skiing is the driver there, you think, I want ski and ski out. I want ski and ski out. That's what I'm going to get. And back then, it made a lot of sense because the town didn't have a lot of restaurants and retail opportunities and didn't have a main attraction down at the town center. Over time, the ski resort continues to be an amazing place for skiing, but the town center down in the meadow has evolved to have more of those retail and restaurant opportunities. So now buyers are, having to make that trade-off. And a lot of times it makes a lot more sense for them to drive to skiing and come back to town and be closer to the restaurants versus be close to skiing and then drive down to town to go eat dinner at night or what have you.
Now, if you're only going to spend winter here, you're going to spend a couple of weeks here and there during ski season, definitely go for ski access. It's the easiest access for you to get on the mountain quickly. There's not a lot of traffic here, but on a powder day, you might spend an extra 10 minutes parking, riding up and down the hill. So if you're only going to be here in the winter and skiing is your main focus, we definitely recommend ski and ski out. Also, the rentals up at the resort and on the mountain for ski and ski out are going to do much better in the wintertime. Big Sky is much more lifestyle driven than most of our buyers expect.
The best areas depend on how often you visit, summer versus winter usage, privacy versus convenience, whether you want club access or not, and your long-term plans.
Big Sky completely rewards buyers who understand how you're going to be using the property, where you're going to be living, what time of the year you're going to be spending here, whether it's full-time or just part-time, and where all the growth is happening.
So after learning everything that we've talked to you about today, who is Big Sky best for?
Buyers wanting privacy, luxury outdoor lifestyle, long-term ownership mindset, families wanting space, and access to all the outdoors amenities, the ski resort, and don't forget Yellowstone National Park, which is right down the road. It's also important to think about who Big Sky might not be best for.
Buyers wanting a walkable resort living where they park their car when they get here and don't get back in it until they leave. Buyers wanting an ultra-urban amenities, and buyers uncomfortable with winter logistics.
And buyers who understand all of that are usually the happiest when they choose to purchase here in Big Sky, Montana. As always, thanks for watching. We really enjoy making these videos. There's a ton of information here to download. Luckily for you, we've got it all in one place.
Yes, we made a great buyer's guide for you guys. So scan the QR code below or click the link, and you've got everything all in one place.